Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People Show. Checking the pulse of Husker Nation, brought to you by DPS Concrete Construction. Check them out at dpsconstruction.net. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the things I love about college football is the unpredictability. I've talked about how the ball bounces all over the place because it's a funny shaped ball. One of the things I love about this show is I never know what's going to happen. Okay, I love interacting with the people. It's one of the reasons I call it the People's Show. So we had the plan to have a current player and have a future Husker. By the way, the back half of this show, Nebraska's top high school football player, top rated high school football player, and recent Husker commit will be joining me, Christian Jones. Stay tuned. It's a great listen, and he talks about how one of his goals is to one day be a future first-round draft pick, but there's a lot more to it than that. We were going to have a current Husker on board, had it all set up. I'm going to be honest with you, he's a very recognizable name from Nebraska's offense. But one of the things I love, and one of the reasons we don't do StreamYard interviews with current Huskers, is because their schedule's so crazy. Something came up, didn't work out. But here's the deal. And I even looked at my wife, and I said, well, it's not the worst thing in the world that it worked out, because I've got all this information that I wanted to share, and I wasn't going to be able to share it leading into the Purdue game. There's always a silver lining, and that player will join us in the future, don't worry. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're excited for the information that I get to share, that I didn't think I was going to get to share, but now I get to share it with you fine folks, if you're excited for that, and, all right, to listen to the interview with Christian Jones in the back half of this show and hear what he has to say, I'm excited to see what he can do even more now that I've talked to him. Smash that like button. And as always, subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Ring that notification bell as well. Our most recent show, I talked about, will Nebraska bounce back and how do they do it? To me, that's the most important two-part question anybody's asked this week. So if you missed that show, not that I got all the answers, but if you missed that show, go check it out. Hopefully you enjoy it. And also, don't miss my gut reaction, as always, right after Nebraska's game, okay, versus Purdue this Saturday. Now, here's a couple of things. I'm going to give my 3 keys to this game and some of the information I thought was interesting. All right, now some of these things I have shared elsewhere. Some of these things I have not shared at all. All right, Purdue, all right, versus Oregon State and Notre Dame allowed 362 rushing yards and 341 rushing yards. Now, both those teams have running quarterbacks. That's not necessarily what we do, although Dylan Raiola runs better than some people think. But by God, we better be able to run the football for much better than 1.6 yards per carry this Saturday. Gee, I wonder what one of my keys to the game might be. All right, now, if you're looking for something that's a little bit more encouraging, all right, a positive vibe going into this Saturday, Dylan Raiola, his Big Ten rankings when it comes to passing, he's number 2 in touchdown passes in the Big Ten Conference with 8, number 3 in completions with 83, number 4 in passing yards with 967, and number 5 in completion percentage is 72.2%. So that's pretty cool in my opinion. All right, Nebraska offensively ranks 66 in the country. And some people think they're showing an average offensive capability, moving the ball, but not elite. It's vastly improved from last year, and that's all I've ever asked for. All right, and again, knock on wood, we're taking care of the ball much better. All right, Purdue ranks 95th in the country in offense, indicating a below-average offense that struggles to generate yardage. This could be a get-right game for our defense, potentially and hopefully. All right, total defense. So that was total offense. This is total defense. Nebraska ranks 30th in the country, reflecting a strong defense that limits opponents in yards. Okay, got to work on points, got to work on getting off the field, got to work on stopping the run game a little bit, tackling, things of that nature. But it's about expectations. All right, with great expectations comes great responsibility. This is an above-average defense. They have the potential, the ability, the returning experience, okay, the returning starters to be even better than they were last year. Like I said, this could be potentially, and it better be honestly, no disrespect to Purdue, a get-right game for the Black Shirts and start building some momentum going forward. So here are my 3 keys to the game. And then I got a couple of random thoughts for you. UNLV's quarterback just quit the team. Reggie Bush is suing a whole lot of people for back pay on NIL. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but I'll offer some quick thoughts right after my 3 keys to the game. And you'll see if, because I gave what I think Nebraska needs to do going forward to bounce back for the rest of the season. All right, but I'm going to give my 3 keys specifically for Purdue because it starts by winning this Saturday. My 3 keys for Purdue, particularly this Saturday. And I did give a brief prediction earlier this week. I've done more recon since. Let's see if it changed at all. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here are my 3 keys to the game. Number 1, run the ball. Yeah, that was a hint from earlier this show. Run the frickin' ball. Number 2, get off blocks and tackle better on defense. All right, communicating better in the back end, which is why some of Illinois' wide receivers were wide open when we were running some man coverage. I mean, offenses, they go in motion and they do double shifts with tight ends and they do all these things for a reason, to confuse defenses, especially in man-to-man defense. If you don't pass it off correctly, all right, it can be a challenge. Is it a run? Is it a pass? Did my guy go in motion? Which guy do I have? Am I blitzing? Is it play action? Welcome to playing defense. We're not a bunch of big dumb animals. Well, we are. Just not as dumb as you might think. The guys in the back end are smarter than us linemen. We're just tougher. Oh, I said it. All right, I'm having fun. I'll have more fun when we win on Saturday. All right, now, even Tony White said in his press conference earlier this week, black shirts got to play better because they can, but we can't be relying on a freshman quarterback to carry the team, which is something I pointed out on Sunday's show. If you listened to my show last Sunday, couldn't rely on the defense last game, couldn't rely on the special teams, couldn't rely on the run game. We're relying on a true freshman quarterback. We can't expect to do that every game going forward. Okay, there'll come a day probably when we can do that with Dylan. It's not fair to do it right now. All right, my third key to the game, and I got a bonus. Kick the ball the right direction on special teams. Matt Rhule said the big return last Friday versus Illinois, in large part, and then we're going to put Illinois to bed, in large part was because the ball was kicked the wrong direction. Sound like a Michigan State game from a few years ago? Sorry to bring that back up. Can we just simply communicate in the back end on defense, kick the ball the right direction? All right, to reiterate, my top 3 keys. Number 1, run the ball. Number 2, get off blocks and tackle better on defense. Number 3, kick the ball the right direction on defense. All right, my bonus is this. I really don't think this game should be a one-possession game. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. I don't know what will be. I don't. Predictions are fun and they're unpredictable. If it comes down to a one-possession game, Coach Rhule talked about, as the game wore on, our previous game, again, Illinois is to bed, so I'll just talk about our previous game because that's different. He said people got tight. He could feel it on the field. He could feel it on the sideline. That's where leaders on the team got to step up. Leaders, or at least a leader. Somebody's got to step up. Getting that first win in a one-score game is the toughest. And eventually beating a ranked team at some point, we're going to play more ranked teams this year, have an opportunity. Getting that first win is the toughest. Leaders, or a leader, has got to step up. And other people will follow. Just saying. All right, I wasn't going to share this. I paused because I was debating. I have shared this somewhere else earlier this week. I'm going to share it here. I debated because it's not fun. In Nebraska's last 8 overtime appearances, games since 2015, we've won 0 games. We have 0 first downs, easy for me to say. 2015, Miami, 1 play, 0 yards, interception. 2016, Wisconsin, 4 plays, 2 yards, turnover on downs. 2017, Northwestern, 4 plays, negative 2 yards, turnover on downs. 2018, Northwestern, 4 plays, 9 yards, almost got the first. 2019, Colorado, 3 plays, negative 6 yards. I don't want to read all the rest of these. There's Michigan State, there's Wisconsin, there's more negative yards after 4 plays and Illinois, 4 plays, minus 29 yards. In our last 8 possessions in overtime games, in an overtime in a game, no points, no wins, no first downs, minus 20 yards. If it comes down to crunch time, and I've spent way too much on this because it should not, and if it does, let's get over the hump somehow. Leaders step up. If it comes down to crunch time, we gotta find a way. And that's where I talked about the aforementioned leaders and somebody stepping up. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my prediction has not changed as much as I wanted it to. I wanted to say 38-17. I wanted to say 45-10. My prediction for my previous show was 31-17. I'm sticking with that. And I hope it's not that close. And if it is a one-score game, let's find a way to get her done. All right. Reggie Bush is suing. Give me 2 minutes here. Then we'll get back to Husker football. He's suing USC. He's suing the NCAA. Why? Nobody cares about the NCAA. They're suing the Pac. Is he suing the Pac-12? How can you sue? I guess they're still around. They've got like 7 teams now. I digress. Topic for another day. This ain't about money. Reggie Bush doesn't need money. This is about, you took my Heisman Trophy, okay? And this is revenge. I'm not even going to say that I'm going to blame him. Here's the deal. Reggie Bush, didn't he get in trouble because his family was compensated money he wasn't supposed to have? So in fairness, they made a lot of money off Reggie Bush that he didn't see. And then they took his trophy away because he got illegal funds. If they reward Reggie Bush with this money, the Pandora's box that would open for every former player, including yours truly, would bankrupt every university. Maybe it's not such a bad idea after all. That's a topic for another day. Adam gonna talk politics? Not now. This is a revenge ploy. And if it happens, it will bankrupt universities. And frankly, as much as I'd love for this to happen, because I would probably benefit in some way, no, I don't agree with this. Let me know in the comments below. This is a bonus question. Do you agree with me that this is kind of ridiculous and it's more about revenge than it is legitimacy? Let me know in the comments below. All right, one last thing. UNLV quarterback Matthew Sluka has announced he is leaving the team because of representations that were not upheld. Basically, he was supposed to be paid like $100 grand. He got paid $3 grand. Would you stay at your job if you got paid 3% of what you were supposed to be paid? But then I go on to see where Carl Reed Jr., okay, on 3 Sports says all financial commitments for UNLV quarterback Matthew Sluka were completely met. But after wins against Kansas and Houston, Sluka's family hired an agent. They collectively feel that his market value has increased per source. I mean, that's a credible guy putting out that post. If that's true, Barstool UNLV calling him a quitter is fair. If it's not, then it's on UNLV. Oh, by the way, one final thought. You can't practice soft and expect to hit hard. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a unique and a fun show. Do you think the UNLV's quarterback, what he did is BS, or is it on UNLV? Personally, I need more facts. There's so much floating out there right now. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This has been a unique show, and it's been fun. And one of the things I love is when life throws me curveballs and I don't know what's going to happen. Boom! I'm not excited at all. I don't love Carriker Chronicles. I don't love Husker football. I don't love college football at all. I actually had a blast today, and I look forward to bringing on more interviews in the future. All right, until next time, make sure you check out DPS Concrete Construction. They're your local concrete experts in concrete, retaining wall work, and the like. If you need this work done, check out Jason Armstrong, his crew at dpsconstruction.net. Also, bonzelpool.com. All right, if you need a pool, you need a hot tub, you need a sauna, have a pool, a hot tub, especially the hot tubs, and saunas, you need them taken care of. Check them out at bonzelpool.com. And ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Christian Jones will be right with you. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm joined by a current Husker commit. He is a 4-star linebacker out of Omaha West Side, the top-rated high school player in the state of Nebraska, Mr. Christian Jones. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Dude, I'm good. I appreciate you taking the time. Now, after the Colorado game, that's when you decided to commit. And here's the quote that you put out after the game is, after Colorado, the Colorado game, it felt right. I want to be part of the culture that Coach Rhule is building. That's the end of the quote. So what sticks out the most about Coach Matt Rhule's culture that you're excited to be a part of?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been getting recruited to Nebraska since freshman year. And I've kind of seen, just the gradual changes that have happened from him being the head coach. And I would say watching the Colorado game and just kind of the game leading up to that game as well is just they're playing harder for each other and kind of playing towards a common goal, it seems like, more so than the past couple of years. Was kind of out there playing football, not really for each other. That's kind of one thing that I saw and that really intrigued me.
All right, now you're currently the 19th commit to Nebraska's 2025 football recruiting class. I'm curious, how many of the other commits so far in your current class have you gotten to know?
I know most of all my kids pretty well from just playing with them in youth leagues and playing against them. Doug Pierce, Newberry, Kenny Vermas, Tyson Terry, all those guys, I've known them since childhood, so we're all pretty tight already.
All right, so I got to ask, of the Omaha guys and some of the Nebraska guys that you know, who's like the funniest? Does anybody show some early leadership qualities or anything like that?
I wouldn't say like anyone's kind of, leading the pack. Yeah, we're all kind of bros, but Tyson Terry is probably one of the funniest dudes I know. Is
there anybody out there that the Huskers are recruiting right now that you're kind of currently trying to peer recruit and get to come to Nebraska, and hopefully you can get them to come to the good side? Is there anybody you're working on right now?
Not at the moment, but I'm sure there will be some players that rise that we would work on.
Which of the current Huskers that are currently on the Nebraska football roster have you gotten to know the most, or at least a little bit up to this point?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of teams that played at Westside. They're on the current roster already, like Caleb Benning, Tristan Albano, and all those guys. And, I mean, I've kind of become friends with most of them because my girlfriend's brother is also on the team, Elliot Brown, and we run kids camps together, and he brings up some of the guys. So I'm trying to know a fair share of people already through them.
Matt Rhule has made it a priority to emphasize and prioritize recruiting Nebraska kids and Nebraska high school players to come play at the University of Nebraska again. So what does it mean to Nebraska high school players to see like Matt Rhule or Terrence Knighton or Marcus Satterfield or one of these guys on the sidelines at their high school games? And does it now mean more, and is it more exciting to come play for the Huskers than maybe it was a few years ago now that the head coach in Nebraska is prioritizing recruiting in-state players again?
Yeah, I think it's big that Coach Rhule is really emphasizing getting the hometown kids, because most kids, that's who they want to play for. And past couple of years, a lot of the top recruits have not gone to Nebraska because Nebraska has neglected them, or they just go recruit out of state to like Florida or California or something, not thinking that Nebraska players aren't good enough. So I think it's big. I think it's really good that he's emphasizing that.
Which one of the current Husker coaches, I would imagine it's probably Tony White or the linebackers coach, but which one of the current Husker coaches have you gotten to know the best, and what do they kind of like to get to know as a recruit and a commit?
Yeah, I would say Coach Dvorak, linebackers coach, is probably the one that I have just really down to earth, really genuine, really easy to talk. They're easy to talk to. They don't really talk down to you. They talk with you. They're human beings as well. They're not just football coaches, and I think that's a big thing as well. They can relate to you on a lot of levels because they've been through a lot and they have a lot of knowledge to give.
I got to ask, what's Tony White like, the D coordinator? What's he like, and what are your thoughts on him up to this point?
Talk to him a lot, like him a lot as well. He's really mellow until you get, but I like him a lot. I can't wait to play for him.
Somebody you're going to get to know really, really well, and someone that I don't think is talked about enough during the recruiting process, because you will spend as much or maybe more time with this man during the course of your career at Nebraska as any other coach, and that's Nebraska's strength and conditioning coach, Corey Campbell. A lot of times that gets overlooked, but you will spend as much or more time with him as anybody else once you get on campus. So what are your thoughts on Corey Campbell? Have you gotten to know him at all? Nebraska's strength and conditioning program has clearly been getting better the past couple of years under Coach Campbell.
Me and my dad actually had a workout with him, and I like him a lot. His energy is good, and people, I would say, feed into him because of that, and I think that's why I would say strength and conditioning program is getting better, because he knows what he's doing, he's talking about, and I like him a lot.
All right, what are your thoughts on Nebraska's season so far? We're 4 games in, a third of the way into the season. We're getting ready to play Purdue this week, but what are your thoughts on the Husker season so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think they have definitely shown that they put a lot of work in somewhere. They've, I would say, emphasized the thing that they're not as good last year, all that. You haven't really seen much of that recently, and they kind of cleaned up their play a lot. And yeah, I'm excited for the rest of the season, see what happens.
All right, man, what are your thoughts going into this Purdue game this Saturday? Obviously, the Huskers want to get a good bounce-back win. They're almost a double-digit favorite as we sit here right now. What are your thoughts going into the Purdue game on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I think you gotta come into that game mad. Just last game and just play smash-style football and prove everyone that, it's all right. We got a bounce-back game and just keep momentum going, get the momentum back.
I've asked this question to just about every Husker commit I've ever interviewed over the years, and some of the unique answers that stick out to me that I've gotten over the years. Garrett Nelson, when I asked him, he's like, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go do a workout. And Wandale Robinson years ago, he's like, I want to try a runza, because he was from Kentucky and never had a runza.
Yeah.
But what's the first thing you're going to do when you step foot on campus?
I would say just get to know me and start building those relationships and just try to figure it out myself. I'm going to put together a poster board of all the goals that I want to get done while I'm at Nebraska. That'd be the first thing I do, is in my dorm, put up a big dry erase.
All right, so first of all, I want to let people at home know I appreciate Christian taking the time. We were going to do this over StreamYard, had some difficulties. I know the connection's been a little bit rough, but I think hopefully we're able to hear most of what he's saying. But he said he's going to put up basically all his goals on the board in his dorm room. The first thing he's going to do when he steps foot on campus, and that's another answer that I'm going to remember. It's the first time I've heard that, and I like that. Do you mind sharing any of the things that you might put on that goal board you're going to put up in your dorm room?
Yeah, I have on my screen, and the kind of main ones are just leader, like leader alpha, and then first round draft pick, and then outworking everyone. I'm going to start there.
I like it. Those are some good goals right out of the gate. All right, and for any of the Husker fans who want to just get to know you a little bit more, or just want to get to know a future Husker, and they're obviously big-time fans, and they know you committed to Nebraska. Do you have a message or anything you just like to share with some of the Husker fans out there?
I'm ready to get to work. I'm ready to be part of the Nebraska team.
And I want to give another special shout-out to the Nebraska volleyball team. I did this on my show last Tuesday as well, but there's a means to an end as to why I'm doing it again here on today's show. But shout-out to Nebraska volleyball. They have beaten not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 top 15 teams already this season, 4 top 10 teams, and they've swept 2 top 5 teams within the past week to 10 days. So shout out to Nebraska volleyball. But here's the reason I want to point this out to you fine folks at home. The Carriker Chronicles website. I used to say where all your Husker football hopes and dreams will come true. Now, maybe you did or maybe you didn't notice, but a few months ago I switched that to all your Husker sports hopes and dreams will come true. It's just science, and it is just science, ladies and gentlemen. At CarrikerChronicles.com, we don't just talk football anymore. It's football, volleyball, basketball, baseball, softball, list of sports, track, etc. Okay, so there's some volleyball articles that are up on the website right now if you want to check them out. Also, as recruiting, press conferences, highlight videos, where are they now, catch up with former Huskers, what are they doing now, fan of the week, all sorts of stuff. It's a loaded website, and yes, I am proud of it. Hopefully you enjoy it. And that's what matters most. We give you an eclectic mix, or at least we try to. Check them out. It's where all your Husker sports hopes and dreams will come true. It's just science, ladies and gentlemen, at CarrikerChronicles.com. Also, I got 3 questions for you fine folks at home. Let me know your answers in the comments below. Number 1, give me your single biggest key to the Huskers beating Purdue on Saturday. Number 2, if you just want to show Christian some love, just show him some love. You can do that in the comments below as well. And last but certainly not least, what's your score prediction for the game versus Purdue? All right, Christian, I appreciate you taking the time to join me. Good luck the rest of your high school season. And until next time, Husker Nation, go Big Red. And always remember,
let's go Black Shirts, baby.